I want to share my favorite Jesus miracle with you. And of all the cool things that he did, this one always seems to resonate with me. So the context is this. It says, in the early morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went away to a secluded place, and he was praying. And then the disciples find him, and they say, hey, where were you? And they collectively go into the streets of Galilee to perform more miracles. And here's where the story picks up. It says, and a leper came to Jesus, beseeching him and falling on his knees before him, saying, if you're willing, you can make me clean. Moved with compassion, Jesus stretches out his hand and he touches him and he says, I'm willing, be cleansed. Immediately the leprosy left him and he was clean. And we have to understand that leprosy and being a leper of that time meant a lot of things. It meant that you were alienated from the community. It meant that you were isolated. And it meant that no one had touched you in a long time. You had sores all over your body. Likely you smelled. There was pus, dry blood all over your body. And you were the most unclean of the most unclean things in that time. What's cool about this story is that Jesus could have healed him any way that he wanted. He could have snapped his finger. He could have pointed his finger. He could have lifted his hand. But he gave, and he did, something that was unbelievably meaningful and compassionate towards this guy. He gave him what he hadn't had in so long. He touched him. He touched and was willing to touch the most unclean thing and make it new. You see, Jesus is in the business of touching things that are unclean and making them clean, of taking old things and making them new, of restoring things, of ultimately being a redeemer. And what I love about that story is he gave to that guy what he needed most. I know he needed to be healed, but boy, he needed to be touched. And I love the fact that we serve a God that has that type of intention and that type of compassion.